I'm Peter Hollenbeck. I'm a professor of biological sciences at Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana. When I'm not professing, I'm a competitive long-distance runner and a volunteer coach with the Purdue University club runners and with the local high school. My connection with Tourette is that I myself have Tourette, and my connection with the Tourette Association of America is that I've been working with them in one capacity or another since 1997. Does Tourette syndrome impact you personally? Yes, of course Tourette syndrome impacts me personally. Now at 60, the severity and frequency of my tics is incredibly low, but they've waxed and waned through my life. It's never really profoundly affected my executive function, but it's ranged from an annoyance to a moderate, kind of disability. That's not all negative. I think having a chronic problem like Tourette, particularly when you're young and it's apparent, it builds a sense of empathy to deal with bullying when you're a kid, to figure out how to navigate that. I think it serves as a jerk filter because people don't become your friends who are jerks if you have an outward set of symptoms like Tourette. What keeps you in the field of Tourette syndrome? I would say two things. One is, of course, having Tourette syndrome, which I'm not going to escape. The other is I felt from the beginning that the TAA was an organization that was getting a huge bang per buck. They've had an enormous impact in the research sphere. They've had enormous impact in the public policy sphere. And of course, just in doing the basic kind of shoe leather outreach to patient families, to schools, and so on. I keep coming back because it's really worthwhile. What brings you the most joy? That's an interesting question. I'm an academic scientist, so I run a lab and I train young scientists. I also teach undergrads. And what brings me the most joy is dropping in on the upward trajectory of young people when they're learning and growing and becoming something better, and getting a chance to participate in that. Sometimes I think in a university we admit these great young people and we sort of, we polish the surface a little bit, and then they go out in the world and we get to bask in their reflected glory. That gives me enormous pleasure. What is your favorite hobby and why? I've been running competitively since I was 13, never stopped. So this is year 48. The action and the pleasure in it, the effort, the sound sleep that you get when you're working hard, they've all been positive for my Tourette. What's harder, having Tourette syndrome or being the parent of children with Tourette syndrome? I don't know what the latter is like because my children don't have Tourette syndrome. But I've looked back now as an adult who's raised children who are grown and gone to what my own parents did. And I realized the best thing they did was not to chase after a cure, because there was no cure. It wasn't to chase after things to try to make me perfect, because they couldn't make me perfect. The thing they did was mostly to leave me alone. And I know now as a parent how hard that was. But they managed to never tell me don't do that, because they somehow got that I couldn't not do that. They managed to advocate for me at school and with relatives and so on without making that apparent to me. And they managed to present a face to me which said everything's okay. And that is as good as it gets.